different seasons to it, doesn't it? And each one in their own era, it has huge blessings in each era of motherhood, but also some struggles. So we hope to share and connect with every era of motherhood. We hope that you walk away excited for the era you're in, passionate about that, looking forward to what's to come, and also with practical tools for wherever you're at. And we have everybody up here. We have some moms we have one mom that's a grandma. We have a mom that's pregnant. So sweet. Moms of littles, moms of teens, empty nesters, moms of college students. So here we go. I'm going to hand over to Crystal, who is going to MC for us.
Yeah, right. All right, ladies. All right. So like Lydia said, we have, this is our Refresh team. So you guys are going to get to know us a little bit better today, get to know our people a little bit better. So in all, we represent 24 children. 24 children on this stage is who we have mothered and we have been blessed with. There are 5 grandchildren in the mix, and there's 2 sets of twins. So we have 2 twin moms in this team, which is so crazy. So let's start with Bobby. We're going to go down the aisle, go down the row, and we are going to introduce ourselves and say who our people are.
I'm Bobby Kirby. I have 2 children. They're both in college, one at App and one at LR.
I'm Lynette Whitfield. I have 2 children as well. I have one a freshman at App State this year and a sophomore in high school.
Hi, I'm Lydia Carlino. I am in my mom of teenagers era. I have 2 teenagers. One's a junior in high school, so we just got back from looking at colleges, which I cannot even believe. And then one is a freshman in high school.
Hi, I'm Carly Pruitt. I have 2 children. I have an 8-year-old little girl in elementary school. She's in 3rd grade. And I have a 5-year-old little boy here at Corinth in TK.
And I'm Crystal Wimbish. I'm in the boy mom stinky feet era. I have Josiah, who is in 7th grade. He's 12. And then Ari, who is just turned 9 in 3rd grade.
And I am Haley Wimbish. I have a 5-year-old, Charles, and then I have Kerrigan, who's 8 in 3rd grade. And I am in the starting all over era as my motherhood era.
I'm Katie Elder, and I am, I guess, in the juggling era. I have a high schooler, a middle schooler, and one still in elementary school. I feel like I've been in elementary school for like 25 years. And so, yeah, life is crazy, and there's lots of carpools.
Hi, I'm Lori Sparks, and I have 4 children. I have twins that are actually 19 today. One is a freshman at App, and the other is a freshman at Clemson. I have a daughter who's a junior, who's 17, and then my youngest is 14 and in 8th grade.
So I'm the OG here. So I have, my name is Susan Hudson. I have twin boys who are 9. I have 2 stepdaughters, which we don't say step, we just say daughters. 36, 30. I have 5 grandchildren. The first one is 8. The next one is 5, 3, 2, and 10 months.
All right, and we're going to start with our starting over era with Haley.
Okay, so mine starts off as I'm married to Grant, and we've been married. Monday was our 13th year wedding anniversary. So 13 years of wedding bliss, and we've met at Tri-County Motor Speedway, the most, redneck romantic way you can possibly meet someone. But, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, that was, I guess the thing. I don't know. So anyways, and Crystal is my sister-in-law. We're married to brothers. So like I said, I have Kerrigan who's 5, or Charles who's 5, and then I have Kerrigan who is 8. And then I'm starting all over again. So maybe in 3.5 short weeks, we will have another baby. This is a surprise and a total surprise. So I don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. I mean, it's either one. So we'll find out. November 13th is the official day. So the motherhood era I consider myself in is the starting all over era, because I thought I was done. I mean, this is a total surprise. And what I was thinking about was Sunday, my son had a birthday party. And at the party, he wore 3 different outfits, okay? Because that's what they do. They're superheroes and they're regular Joes, you know. So for him, the first one he had on was Raphael, the Red Ninja Turtle. So that's how you kind of felt when you're the first-time mom. You have it together. You're okay. You're cool. You're relaxed. You're radical, you know. And you like pizza, I guess, too. So the second outfit he had on was Batman. And so second one, you've got this. You're brave. You're the Dark Knight. You stay up all hours of the night pretty much preparing everything for the next day. And then so with the third one, he had just Nike shorts and a Nike shirt. And you just become yourself. You figure out who you are. You just relax more. And that's pretty much how I feel at this point. You just, anything goes from your here to here, your day-to-days. You're just surviving. So momming ain't easy.
Okay, I'm Carly Pruitt, and I'm married to Zach. We've been married for 18 years. Next weekend will be our 18-year wedding anniversary. We dated in high school, so we were high school sweethearts. And I'm going to be talking about the working mom era. I have a real estate career. I work with Caldwell Banker, and I've been in real estate since right out of college. I started in '04, so it's been almost 20 years that I have been just a full-time real estate agent. The first 10 years, of course, it was just me and Zach. I had plenty of time to work. And then the kids came along, which, of course, we wanted. Kate's 8, Max is 5, and my job is full-time. It's 24/7, but I try to make the best of it with the kids. They are very used to me making them tag along with me just to go and do what we need to do in our daily activities and daily chores. Let's see. It is a demanding job, but I do love it. I wouldn't change anything for the world to be a worker and have children. I love helping families buy and sell what is mostly their biggest purchase or their biggest sale in their lives. I do have a real estate partner, so I couldn't do it without Catherine. We lean on each other a lot because she's been through the childhood. Her son is now 18, and I was there for her when she needed to do all the carpooling and all the daily activities that we had to work in throughout our appointments. I would say the positives of a working mom is that it's fun and it's interesting. My day is always changing. It challenges me, and I'm always learning. And that helps me be a better mom just by trying to be a professional. I feel independent. Of course, working allows me to make money for our family. My husband works as well, but we both, want to work so that we can have a good lifestyle. I do get another positive of it is I do get to have adult conversations a lot. It's not just with the kids every day of the many questions that they ask. I get to talk to adults, and I get to know people, meet new people. I have relationships with a lot of handy people, electricians, plumbers, attorneys. It's neat. I feel like I am also an example to my kids by working because it helps them to learn, I guess, what a good working ethic would be. I grew up with a working mom, and she was a school teacher, so I always knew that she was working every day, and that was my example, so that's what helped me want to be a working mom. I do have mom guilt, though, because there's a lot of times where my kids are like, well, Mom, why weren't you at school today? Or why can't you do this? But they understand that I do have a job, and they just understand. They don't know any different, so that kind of helps me as well. My job is flexible. I don't have a boss anymore, so I can make my own schedule, and I can say I have an appointment. I can't be there today because it might be an appointment to go to my kid's school to be there for, a school party. But if somebody asks me to do something, they don't know what else I'm doing, so it's my other appointment. More challenges of being a working mom, other than the mom guilt that I do have, would be I don't have as much downtime. I do pay a gym membership, and I can tell you I haven't been in 3 months because I can't work it into my schedule because I'm not an early riser. If I could get out of the bed earlier enough, I could, but I choose not to. I also attend the Wednesday morning Bible study here. I do attend, but I can't tell you that I do my homework all the time. I live hour to hour. I never know when something's going to come up. But again, as long as a lot of my clients know my kids, I just bring them along and I tell them to watch their iPad or, be quiet for a little bit. I'm talking on the phone. Can you please be quiet? But situations do come up that are, I guess, one thing that I do remember that is hard for me is my husband and I took our kids to the Great Wolf Lodge one day. And I had told, it was a Sunday afternoon. We had planned to just have that day of fun. Well, sure enough, it was about a year ago when the market was crazy. And I had shown some people a house on Friday. I got a call like Sunday morning that the agent had gotten an offer. And these people wanted to make an offer as well, but they were still getting all their financing in line. So that Sunday, when I was at Great Wolf Lodge, we had a deadline that I had to get in. So I had to get my computer out. I had to do the offer. Sitting there in my bathing suit, and Kate comes up to me, and she's like, "Really, Mom? You're working?" But it took me an hour to do it. I did it and got back to playing. So let's see what else. I think that's it. I love my life. I do fly by the seat of my pants, but I know that God always helps me, and He's there with me every day, and I couldn't get through it without Him.
So I'm coming up on the I do not work. I'm your stay-at-home mom. I'm the complete opposite of Carly. And I have no mom guilt. My kids actually have kid guilt because I'm always there. They're like, "Why are you at school again, Mom? Why are you here again? Why are you doing that again? You're always the class party mom. I'm tired of your snacks. Can you bring something else?" No, but so I am so incredibly blessed to be able to be a stay-at-home mom. It's actually the place, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but that's the least of the places I stay and I'm at. It's actually kind of funny. But that's what I wanted. When God blessed me with my first baby, Josiah, and I was pregnant, I was working, I was full-time, I knew that really wasn't what I wanted to do. But I wanted to make sure my husband was on board. So I prayed about it and talked to him and was like, "I am not sure I want to stay at work." And he said, "I don't want you to work. I want you to be at home. I want you to be doing all the things." That's what my mom wasn't there for me growing up. She couldn't be. And so I want you to do that. And so we were on the same page, which was wonderful. So I became a wonderfully blessed stay-at-home mom after Ari was born. I worked for a little bit with Josiah, and it was just hard. So I completely commend the ladies and the moms here that do work and do have kids because it's hard, y'all. It's a lot. We are in charge of a lot of things. Everything rests on our shoulders. We might not be the leader in our house. That's for our husbands or it's supposed to be for our husbands. But we are in charge of a lot of things. And these little people adore you and they look up to you and they are watching you and they are doing everything you're doing. So my motherhood era that I'm in right now is I live in my car and I don't really live in my car. We have a really nice house in Granite Falls, but I live in my car all the time. It's on the road all the time. I pass a lot of people on the road, but that's okay. Like that's just how it is. We're playing baseball. My boys are in travel ball. They love it, and I love that they love it because one day they're going to wake up and it's all going to be over, and I am going to be incredibly sad. So right now I am balancing washing uniforms and making sure they have all of their things and also trying to, instill in them that it's your responsibility to make sure your uniform shirt is clean. And if it's not, you got to show up at the ball field with a dirty shirt, and that happened last weekend. So it's not my problem, it's yours. But I do enjoy doing laundry, keeping kids clean and healthy and fed and watered and all the things. But it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. So I want you guys to just know that you're doing a good job. Know that what all of your everyday, daily mundane, like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to run here, I got to run that, I got to do carpool. I mean, it's a lot. It's a list. But God has given that to each one of you guys. That is a gift. Those little babies bouncing in your arms right now, that is a gift, like a true gift that some women aren't blessed to have. So my advice to you guys is just to savor your moments right now, whether that be really hard moments where you're sending off kids to college, you're deciding what college they're going to go to, you really don't want them to go to college, but they want to go to college. All of those things, whether it be wiping snotty noses, dealing with teacher conferences because your kid's lying, whatever it may be, just enjoy it. Just sit back and thank God that you're in that position. You're getting to do those hard things because some people don't get to do that. So what I did was I asked I got this idea from Bobby. I asked my children, what are some things that I have done well for you as a mom? I feel like Bobby's answers are a lot better than mine. I'm going to blame that on the fact that my kids are 12 and 9, and they're like, you haven't done anything for me today. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? So this was Ari's answer. You help me learn how to read, always help me to do my homework. You always take me to baseball practice. You love spending time with me, and you have helped me love to go shopping. And so Josiah's was, you help me get through hard things, help me even when I don't ask you to. You help me get my grades up when they were really low. True facts, 100%. And so, so those were pretty basic, but again, they're young, they're 12 and 9, and I thought, okay, well, that's good. I was like hoping that you would say, like, you have shared Jesus with me, and you take me to church, and you provide everything I need all the time. But anyway, it's okay. I love their answers. They were straight from the heart. So then I flipped that and said, what are some things that I have done parenting you that you haven't liked? Ari said he doesn't like when I say no. Okay, well, sorry, princess. That's my job. And when you yell at me, I did get when you yell, because I used to be. That's a thing of the past. I'm not a yeller anymore. I'm much more calmer. When my children were little, I screamed a lot. Like, I had to apologize to the neighbors because they heard me screaming so much. But now I'm just in this, like, I just want to enjoy this, and I'm not going to ruin their day and ruin my day and my husband's day and the neighbor's day and everything else and the dog's day. You ruin everything by screaming, and I just feel like I'm in this. I just want to be here and enjoy this right now, because in a flash it's over, or it could all be taken away. And then Josiah's, what I do that he doesn't like when we fuss at him, which is middle school, right? You're fussing every day. He really can't do anything right ever. Let's be real. It's not his fault. It's just the way God made him. So we fuss a lot, and he says that we always argue with him, and we get onto him before we get onto the little one. And I'm like, it's because you started. But anyway, thank you for your answers. I really appreciate you. Pat him on the head and send him to bed. So I also I also am in charge of small group at Hickory Christian Academy for the 8th grade girls. And so I hit them with this question on Monday. And I'm not going to name names because some of the parents are in the audience. But I did tell them, I said, what are some things that you have done, or what are some things that your parents have done good with parenting? Like, what are some things that I can share with some other moms? And they're like, oh my gosh, I do have to say that the good was way longer than the bad. Okay, so that's awesome. Teaching life skills, they really enjoyed that their moms teach them life skills. They really enjoyed that their moms stick to their word. Like, when they say something, they mean it, and they don't go back on their word, that's encouraging for you guys. That was encouraging for me. They teach them Bible verses and encourage them to choose a life verse. They take them to church, and they set an example by putting Jesus first. They always push them. They never accept anything less than the best. Being a good listener, they trust them, therefore they trust them in return. And being sent to a good Christian school and teaching them all good things. I think that's all I got. Oh, cooking. They enjoy when they teach you cooking. I do not do that for my children. We live out of a greasy food bag because we're in our car all the time. But that's okay. We'll eventually get back to cooking. I cooked Monday for the first time in months because we didn't have practice. What else? One-on-one intentional time. I loved that these 8th graders said that. One-on-one intentional time, y'all. Take time to be still and just look at your kid. And if they don't want to look at you, go find something that they like. If they like to be outside, go outside with them. If they like to be inside, go inside with them. Whatever it takes, get on their level. Look at them in the eyes and say, I love you, and I just want to be in your presence. And they may roll their eyes if you have, well, really boys or girls, they both roll their eyes, right? You may not get the best response back, but just be intentional with one-on-one time with them. And then the bad things that they shared, she's never there and she argues with everything. I get drug everywhere because I'm the youngest of 5 kids. Sorry, little baby. What else? You have to eat what's on your plate before you get up. They did not like that. And I am really big on that. You have to try one bite. they don't allow our phones in our rooms. They don't. I don't like that they go through my phone. They don't like having talks whenever they say we need to talk, and they have to you go to that talk room. For us in our house, it's the sunroom because that got passed down from our in-laws. It's actually the same furniture that was in the sunroom when Josh was there, and so he's like, "This sunroom gives me nightmares." I'm like, "This is where we got to talk." But anyway, guys, so my advice to y'all is just to enjoy whatever era you may be in. You may not have any kids at home, and that's what God gifted you as. You may have tons of kids at home, and you feel like you have no time for yourself. Again, sleep when they sleep. Enjoy the moments, because before you know it, it's over. Time is fleeting.
Okay, it's me. So, kind of to piggyback a little bit on Crystal, I think as moms, we are the ones that set the tone at the house and keep the balance, and our kids really look to us for that. And when I asked my oldest, because my youngest basically said the thing I do right is cook, and I'm like, okay, now I know why. But yeah, and I do like to cook. That is my therapy. But my oldest said something that I really it made me feel good. She said, you always spend time with us, and you keep the peace and the balance in the house. And I thought, oh, I didn't know I did that, but thank you. And so as moms, I think that is really important. And one of the things, too, I was thinking about, our expectations of moms, some of these shows we watch, and just from having babies to where everything's perfect and lovely, and they have the bows in their hair. My kids never kept bows in their hair. And I joked with a mom the other day. I said, I'm the mom who never made a baby book because I knew I was going to I was praying that I would have more than one child. And I thought, I can't have the expectation if I do all of this for my firstborn. I know I'm not going to do it for number 2 and 3 and whoever else. So I just didn't do it for any of them. So now they don't feel bad that one of them has all of the good stuff. I just set the bar real low for all of them. And I really think that's good advice for new moms. Don't overdo it, because you're not going to keep it up, because you get exhausted very fast. So expectations, I keep mine low. I'm not saying don't do anything, but don't expect yourself to be this Pinterest, Instagram mom all the time. It's not realistic. And then also take time to enjoy your life. We are moms, and I love my children, but I was just saying at our table, we are people and we are humans, and our kids need to know that, because one day, they might be parents, and you want them to know that they're special and God made them who they are, not just moms. When I was working full-time too, and I had my first, and really, y'all, I cried a lot. I was lonely as a mom, and I prayed for friends. And I think friendship is so important. I love these ladies up here. We can laugh and joke and come to refresh and be real. And I just think if you don't have a good connection with a good friend group, really try. You're here, so that is a huge step. And we're up here just chit-chatting right now, but really the reason we come is because we want you guys to connect with one another, and just to, friendship is very important. Go for walks with women, Bible studies, go grab coffee, go grab some wine and laugh, and be a person and not just always a mom. And your kids need to see that you take care of yourself as well. Okay, so on to the kids. The kids really just want to know love, support, and guidance. Really, I was just thinking of some things and wrote down that really to spend one-on-one time with your kids is important. And I have 3, and they are all in different stages: the high school, middle school, elementary school. Sometimes I have to remind myself which one I'm looking at, okay. And sometimes they act the same. The high schooler is just like the elementary kid. But really just kind of tune into what that kid, specifically what their need is or what their likes are, and do that with them. My son is 12, and he wants to go up to the field every day and kick soccer balls at me. And I don't love it, but I do it. my daughter, my teenager wants to spend all of my money, and sometimes I have to let her. And my little one still wants to cuddle with me, and sometimes I need my space, but I love her, and she needs to be touched. So that's what we do. And so I think you do have to kind of tune into what your kid specifically needs. And are we going to do that perfectly all the time? No. And that's okay. But I do really try to spend one-on-one time with each of my kids, and also not to force them to do what their siblings are doing. So when you have multiples, my oldest plays travel soccer. We're going to Winston-Salem this weekend. We have to wake up at, Ingrid, 5:30 Saturday morning and go. I'm not going to drag my little ones to do that. That's not, unless they want to, but try to not make them go, like the kid said, I'm the youngest of 5 and I'm drug around all these places. I really try. I mean, sometimes you have to do it. We're a family and we're going to do things together. But if you can, I say to my middle school kid, like, you don't have to go this weekend if you don't want to. I'll find a friend for you to hang out with or something. Just so that it's not always focused on one kid and then everybody else is spread so thin. And then find what the other kids like to do and kind of focus on that. So with teens, and I learned this last night, talk with them, not at them. Lecture less and listen more. I went in to tell my daughter good night and good luck on her chemistry test today, and I got the and just that's all she does. She's very nice about it. She doesn't say anything mean to me, but it's the look and the huff puff, and I'm like, okay, good night, I love you, and I walk away. I don't take it personal. And I text her this morning, good luck on your test, just try your best. So yeah, and then also elevate the conversation. As your kids get older, don't just, when they get in the car, I really am trying to be intentional about this. Don't just say, how was your day? Fine. That's what you'll get. If you say things like, do you think you did well on your chemistry test? Be more specific. And then even like at dinner to say, you know, with everything going on in Israel or, you know, different social issues or the presidential election, like really elevate the conversation and ask them specific questions to kind of see where they fall and what they think and believe. And if they say something like, you know, we talk about, and this is teenagers and my middle schooler, we talk about depression and mental health and suicide, and because they deal with it, they see it and they hear it. And, so I think if we can talk to them about these things, and when I say talk, I mean listen to them about these things. You hear what they have to say, take a minute, think about it. And I don't always agree or think the same way that my kids do about some really big topics, but I will try to find, instead of me just telling them this is how it is or this is what I think, I'll find articles or YouTube videos or podcasts that I think they might like to listen to and let them hear that from somebody else that's not always you, because they don't always like to hear what you have to say. And so just to elevate that conversation and don't judge what they say back. Just really listen, because they're still trying to figure it out. Their little brains are changing and they're really getting opinions on big issues. And car time, like Crystal said, living in your car. I think use that time to have those conversations with your kids, and sometimes that's all you're going to get. And my daughter turns 16 soon, and then I know she'll be driving out on her own, and I won't get that car time. So I'm really trying to, even though at 8:30 last night I was driving to Conover to pick her up from soccer, and it was dark, and I almost got in a wreck, I was like, I love this time. Let's talk. So yeah. And then I also wanted to hit on phones and social media, because I think we had one of those questions. I know I'm talking a lot. Okay. I like to talk. So if any of y'all want to go for a walk and talk and make a new friend, I love it. And full disclaimer, I'm not like, we do not have all the answers and this is going to work for some and not for all. And I'm just giving opinions, and I'm still learning every day. But as far as the whole phone thing goes, I get asked that a lot. When did you give your daughter a phone? And when did y'all, you can't avoid it. I hear these moms sometimes say, I'm never giving my child a phone. And they're not allowed on YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. Technology is just getting more and more and more. And we need to, teach ourselves what they're doing. So stay curious about things, because I just learned something about last night in the car about laps. I don't know what that is. Something on Snapchat, and they were lapping each other, and I'm like, I need to learn. I'm going home and Googling what is lapping on Snapchat, because I want to know what they're doing. You can't keep them in a bubble, and you can't say you're not allowed to have a phone. You can take that phone away when they're being disrespectful, and that is a great punishment. But you can't avoid it, and you can't stay away from it forever. So especially all you moms of little ones, it's hard. But there are some things that you can do to make it a little bit better. That one thing I said is stay curious. So stay on top of things, like listen to those and ask them, well, I don't understand Snapchat. Like, what is that do? Let me see, and make them show you and teach you. Then they feel like, they're involved in all of this. I decided with mine, they don't get phones until they really need it, which is like, you do want them to start making their own plans. Like, if I called hanging out a play date these days, my kids cringe. Like, it's not a play date. I don't make my kids plans anymore. They do that with their friends. Well, they can't do that if they don't have a phone or tablet or something to communicate, because that is how kids communicate. So I think when they start showing signs, which is typically 12, 13, middle school, that they need to start making their own plans. You're not talking with the moms as much of what your kids are doing. Then it might be a good time to give them a phone. And then that way you can kind of monitor and mentor, and you're not really, you're teaching them, like you're all learning at the same time, rather than they're going to eventually get somewhere and get a phone or social media, and you're not there to teach them. Let your kids mess up and make mistakes while they're at home with you, not when they're older and they're thrown into this crazy dark world to where you're not there to shepherd them. That's what I say. Make mistakes at home, because I'm here and I will love you through it. So yeah, there's not a magic perfect age. You really just have to know your kid and what is going to suit them, and maybe give them a flip phone, or maybe give them a phone and just let them text. And then you slowly add on the Snapchats and the Instagrams and all the things. But you do, and I say don't hover, like don't and you have older kids, but every now and then, show me this, just so they never know, like kind of sneak attack. But, and you teach them how to manage it, and you put boundaries on it. And I think the best way we can do that is, who here doesn't have a phone with them today? Right. So we model that behavior. My kids will see me writing notes or reading a book, or I'm taking the dog for a walk. I'm not always on my phone, and I really do have to be intentional about that. I think we all do, but model that behavior for them, and say it out loud. I've been on my phone too much today. I need a break. Really just be intentional about helping your kids figure out those boundaries, because they're going to go off to college and become adults, and they need to know how to set those boundaries for themselves. Prioritize homework and different chores around the house based on their phone. And make sure when you're talking to your kids, your phone is down and that you make eye contact with them. I am bad about that. And then I asked them the question they just answered, and they're like, I just told you. And I'm like, oh yeah, I wasn't listening. So, again, I have to remind myself to be intentional, to look at my kids when they're talking and put the phone down, because that is the best way to teach them boundaries, is to model it to them. And then we don't do phones at the table. That is a thing at our house. We don't have a ton of family dinners because life is busy, but when we do, we have family dinners, and my kids actually love it. And that was one of the things they said they love. We play silly games at the table, question games. and we say, what made you laugh today? What made you mad? And we go around the table. We try to pick your favorite, color. Oh, we know who that is. Just different things to get to know each other better and just kind of all come together as a family. So they actually do look forward. Even my 12-year-old son always sits down. Can we play the question game at dinner? And I'm like, okay, sure. I know all the answers, but I'll try to lose. So I think that's fun. And I think y'all be silly with your kids and have fun. I chased my 12-year-old around the house last night trying to tickle him. And I know one day he won't let me do that, or he will, because my husband is just a big giant kid. I don't think he ever grew up. And I love that. And I think be silly. There are some serious things that go on in this life and in this world, and let that be that time. But when you can, chase your kids around, tickle them, cuddle them, love on them, play pranks on them. Just get on their level and really have fun with them, because life is short and they grow up so fast. And I know we hear that all the time. Enjoy the moments when you have poopy diapers and throw up all down your back. You're like, I'm not enjoying this, but it goes by so fast and it is so fun. And like Crystal said, it is such a gift until they hit puberty. And I know one of the things like Jackie will say, like Jackie Perry has come and talked about puberty, and Shirley Huffman, and they really get on the whole neurological level of the kids' brains developing. But really at that age, middle school, teenagers, they're just looking for acceptance and connection. We kind of always are. So help your kids find their people, help them find friends, because that is so important. They don't have to have 40 friends. They don't have to go to all the things, but they just need some people. Bring them to youth group. And sometimes you have to force your kids to do things that they don't want to do, but it's what's best for them to go to youth group, go to Young Life, go, invite a friend over and let's go to Starbucks or whatever. Let's go get ice cream, or go up to the field and kick soccer with a friend. Sometimes you have to really help them and organize those things. But friendship and connection is so important for your children. Yes. And then also remind them that feelings are temporary. My kids have big feelings a lot, and I have to talk them down off a ledge, and I'm like, okay, we can be mad, but it's not going to last forever. Or we can be sad, but that feelings are temporary, and you're going to be okay, and you're going to get through this. And sometimes you have to walk them through that and remind them that I think it was Pastor Amy that said it in a sermon. It stuck with me. God is always working for the good, even when things are bad and life is not going well. You did bad on a test, you got a bad grade. He's working in you, and he is working for the good. So you have to keep reminding them of those things, because they do get overwhelmed. All these tests and portals, they can check their grades all the time, and they're always being watched and scored and judged. And kids right now are just under so much pressure and stress, and they are so overwhelmed. And I just think it's so important to remind them that they're just kids. They do not have it all figured out, and they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be learning who they are and really just becoming good people. Grades are important, but I tell my kids, I would rather you just be a nice, loving, caring, good person for the world than get straight A's. I don't know. If you try your best and you're working hard, then you have to support them. And, just don't make it always be about the grades, because they're hard enough on themselves, y'all. We don't need to be hard on them, too. And then just I saw this, to be vanilla ice cream, just to be really neutral and dependable in your household for your kids. Just kind of go with the flow and be their transportation. And then also don't get upset when they do choose friends over you. That is important for them at that age, as they get older. They're going to want to be with their friends a lot more than they're going to want to see their mom at school every day. that is true. Like, and you want that. And so don't get your feelings hurt, especially as they get older and they are never home. So when they are, cherish those moments, but try not to take it personal and try to still encourage them, because you really do want to like foster those relationships and those friendships, as long as they're obviously healthy friendships, and you can talk to them about that. Is that a good friend? What did they do to make you happy? What do they do that makes you mad? Because they're learning while they're at your house, and then you send them off and you don't have as much say, do you, Lori? And then recognize their strengths. Like, really pick one for each kid and just really focus on that. You do that so well, and say it out loud or write it in a note. If they don't like to talk, just write them a note and tell them how good they are at whatever they're doing. Focus on their strengths. And the last thing is just like, kids are messy and teens are complicated. But again, and I read that we live in this toxic achievement culture where they have to be the best at everything. And sometimes we feel that even as moms, like we have to be the best and have it all figured out. But none of us do. And just reminding yourself that, like, it's going to be okay. And then also reminding your kids that, like I said, feelings are temporary, and we don't have it all figured out, but that's okay. God loves us, and he's working through us. And get a group, get some friends, talk about things, and know that you have support and love your kids.
All right. I'm going to talk about embracing the season that you are in, because God has been doing some work in my heart on this. But first, I want to get to know you. So by raise of hands, raise your hand if you are in your mom of a baby era. Okay. I've got a lot of babies, and I love that. And I'll like circle back around to you at the very, very end. I mean, I'm going to talk about embracing the season you're in. 3 tips for whatever era you're in. This applies across all of the eras, but first I'm going to find out what eras you are in. Mama babies, you're in the right place. Okay, raise your hand if you are a mom of a toddler era. Lots of moms of toddlers, yes. So glad you're here. Extra points to you because it's harder to get out of the house with a toddler. All right, raise your hand if you are a mom of a elementary school kid era. Yeah. Raise your hand if you are the mom of a middle schooler era. Raise your hand if you are a mom of a teenager era. Moms of a college student. Yeah, well, like, way to represent. Moms that are empty nesters. Your kids are all of your kids. Hey, Karen, I see you. I'm not going to skip over you. These 3 things about embracing your era for everybody. God has had to work, to be super honest and transparent with you, on my heart about just embracing the era that you're in. I can remember a moment when I was a mom of a baby, like many of you raised your hands, and it was a fall crisp morning like today. It was sunny outside. I remember loading in my baby and toddler in the car. It was a chore just to get everybody in, and driving down the road and seeing this young mom with her bouncy ponytail and Lululemon leggings, like jogging down the road, and being jealous. Like, how does she get out of the house? Like, I can't wait till my kids are in school one day so I can leave the house ever without it being like an act of Congress and packing all of this stuff. And then I can remember a time being a mom of elementary school kids, like all of you all, and one of my best friends, Danielle, having teenagers and seeing like all of the fun things that she would do with teenagers, the youth group trips, the performances, and being like, I cannot wait until I am a mom of teenagers. And now I'm in my mom of teens eras, and I see your sweet babies like Meredith Beeland and your gorgeous children, and I'm like, I would do anything to go back and hold that precious baby. So God has really had to work on my heart about just embracing the season I'm in, because it's so short. So 3 practical tips about just embracing the season that you're in. And the first one is to pray for your kids. This is the most powerful thing. When they're little and toddlers, I think it's so sweet and it's easier. It's kind of fun. It's a connection point. I think someone's going to share about devotions, but it's a sweet time. It's a part of your rhythm. It's at night. When they get older, this would be some of the great conversations that my teen daughter and I would have was we'd be sitting in her bed and talking and praying over things. And now that I have teenagers, there have been a time this school year where I have been on my hands and knees on my hardwood floor outside one of my teenagers' bedroom because they didn't want to pray with me. And just like hand on their door, like literally, it's a hard floor, like this, praying for my teenager, hearing them cry, like in their room. And like there's nothing. And then when they're in college, I know that you pray for your kids. And then when you're an empty nester, like I know you pray for your daughters. That like when we are asking God to come in and he is moving and working, we can't always see how. So number one, on embracing the era, pray for your kids, pray for yourself. Like being a mom is hard. Pray that you can have words and perspective and wisdom for this era, this season of motherhood. So number one is prayer. Number two, embracing the season you're in is, I would say, so I'm a planner. I'm like a little bit of a type A, or Taylor's a little bit, you're a little bit like that, yeah? So like embracing, for me to be encouraged in this season, to embrace this season, is sometimes I almost have to zoom out and be like, okay, so I only have 4 years with teenagers, or I only have 3 years with a small little kid. Like what would be my ideal for this season? What are some like dreams that I can have for just this moment? And going into the holidays, typically that's pretty festive things. Like we want to go to the pumpkin patch. We want to, I want to put my kids in pajamas and drink hot cocoa and drive around and look at Christmas lights, even as teenagers. And to do that, it takes some planning. Like I'll make a bucket list for not every season but for Christmas season and pull out my calendar. And if I don't write all of those down like a month in advance, Christmas comes and I'm like, oh, we didn't do like half of the fun moments I was really hoping to have with my kids. So for me, embracing the season is like planning on what do I want to give them. And when asking them, like Crystal had said, I know you'll go into what is something that I do right as a mom. My son says, you make magical moments. Like you're the one, like if we're going to do all the things, it's on the calendar. We know what's going to happen. We're going to go and we're going to chop down the Christmas tree. And like that's a blessing I can give them, but that's also me just embracing. In this season, it will look different. You can have kids that are out of the home or in college and they're going to come home, and what are those magical moments that just for this season you get to give them? So prayer, planning, and the last one, I feel like I should start it with a P. Partnering in community. The best mom advice I have ever received is being in a mom's group just like this. And that's circling back to those moms of babies. I was a mom that was just struggling. My husband traveled a lot. He worked a lot. And I was lonely. And coming into a mom's group like this completely changed who I am, matured me in my faith. The best advice I've gotten, and I'm a reader. I read all of the books. But it was actually in these table conversations. I remember Dana Lowry telling me to have like a nap time box with the toys, and you bring it out at nap time. And Jeannie, I don't even know if you remember this, you had like a summer bag in the car of toys that we only play with when we're traveling to all the things in the summer in the car. But the best advice I've received were from these kind of table conversations. So in embracing your era, for me, it's something that I struggle with, and that God has been working on my heart. But praying for our kids, partnering in community, and intentional and planning has really been helpful to me.
Okay, so first of all, this is so out of my comfort zone to be up here talking, so mine's going to be short and sweet. I know, I'll be like, Susan. Yeah. No, but like I said, I have 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys, and my twins that are freshmen in college are boy-girl. And I don't know if you guys have boy-girls, but they are very different. And as a mom of twins, of having one of each, they're very different. And now that they both are in college, where I am right now, our family dynamic is totally different. So 50% of our kids are gone. And so just kind of balancing that, not only with my older kids being gone, my younger kids it's just different. And my daughter, who's 17, she's the one that's actually struggled the most with it. She's like, I want to be in college now. I don't like the quiet. And so it's just different. And with my older two gone, my daughter, she calls every day. I talk to her all the time. She's on her way to class. She's like, I'm bored, so I just wanted to call you. And my son, never hear from him. So that has been a big struggle I'm like, I just need to know you're alive. So yesterday I got pictures of fish. I was like, okay, you're fishing. Yay. He's alive. Win. So that's been our, I've just been like, you need to at least call me or text me. I just need to know you're alive. But that has not been an issue with my daughter. So just different struggles like that. And we're just kind of figuring it out. And it's just weird. It's just a weird stage. It's a weird dynamic. A little sad because we'll never go back to, where we all were. I mean, my kids were just home for fall break, and it was really sweet. And we sat, beside the campfire, and my son, who's at App, was like, I really have missed this, and I do miss y'all, and I love this. So it is sweet, those small moments. They're smaller now, and you just have to enjoy them a little bit more. So, but like Katie reminded me, my son is at school with one of my daughter's friends, his twin sister, and so it is nice that she's there because she can mom him some, and I get phone calls from them and pictures, and I'm like, okay, at least she's there and is keeping you a little bit more on track. So it's just a different place that I'm in, and if any of you guys have advice for me too, that is, I will gladly accept that too. So, Susan?
Good. Okay, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Is this on? Can you hear me? So I am at the stage, again, I have two teenagers. My son is a freshman up at App, rooms with Lori's son. So that is a little more, that's helpful because we can kind of communicate and know that they're okay. And then my daughter is still in high school. But I am kind of reverting way back because I wanted to share something when we got some of the questions from you guys. And I know we have a lot of younger moms or moms with younger children, so I wanted to share something that we did as a family that I absolutely loved, and I think my kids enjoyed it. Even when they got a little older, they were kind of like, oh, this again? But it was something that we started when we were young. Before we would leave the house, or it ended up, if we were in a rush, we would take it into the car. So then it ended up staying in my car, and it became, this is what we're going to do on the way to the car. And the older they got, they would kind of do it on their own. So anyway, well, this is called Jesus Calling, 365 Devotions for Kids. Sarah Young, the sweetest, absolute sweetest book. And some of you may know this book, but if not, I would encourage you, if you have toddlers, babies even at this point, but, and kind of look through it. It is kind of like it has the 365 days, like I said, so we would just go by the date. And sometimes, obviously, over the weekends, you might miss some here and there, but you just flip to that day. It has a Bible verse at the top, a sweet little message, and then it's, of course, a read on your own, that you can follow up with if they want to know more. But I don't know if we've got time for me to, share one, but, what's today, the 17th? I don't know that it matters. 18th. Okay, I'll read this. Okay. It's called The Good Shepherd. And then, I might need my glasses. This is sad. It says, I am the Good Shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. John 10:14 through 15. So, I started out reading these with the kids. And so I would read that, and then I'd read the devotion. And then as they got older, they would enjoy reading it. And sometimes it would even be but it always spoke to us. And I love it because it would start a little conversation. We don't have that long of a drive to school, but, and it would take turns. One might not want to read it, but it just was a sweet way for me to share Jesus first thing in the morning on the way to school. It kind of, depending on what moods everyone was in, it just kind of all brought us together. And then one of us would say a sweet little prayer and then set them off, so it, I would just, I just loved it. It's literally falling apart, because that's how much we use it. And again, the next year you may have read it again. They either don't remember or maybe I kind of remember that story, but I just wanted to share that because it was something that we did that I loved. And again, I didn't read the full thing here because I don't know how much time I have, but I'll let some other people share. But again, if you have any questions, let me know later.
So I'm Bobby Kirby. I've been married for 28 years. I have 2 children. They're both in college. One goes to App, one goes to LR. So I asked my kids, and then I asked my sisters and a cousin, what are some things that you think you did well with your kids, and what are some things that you maybe didn't do so well? And these are the things that we did well was teaching them to honor the value of life. Both of my kids are very anti-abortion, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but they value life. They've seen their grandmother die of pancreatic cancer, and they really value life. Trust and believe in God's love for you and his desire for good. They really rely on God. They very are Christian in their heart and the way that they generally act. Not all the time, of course, because they are not perfect. Come to my house, and you'll see me and my son arguing. Work hard for what you want. That was something that they definitely felt that they got taught. My son said good hygiene, which I thought was very funny because I was always like, brush your teeth. Did you floss? Deodorant? Comb your hair? Did you have clean clothes on? Change that shirt? Put new sneakers on. And he dated this girl for a couple of weeks, and then he broke up with her because she was so dirty and filthy. And he said, I think I dodged a bullet, Mom. And I said, thank you, Lord, you know. So that was kind of funny because I thought, oh my gosh, I have like stood over this boy going, let me see, did you clean your ears? Wait, what's behind here? You know, and like, you know, like really standing over him. And now he's like, got it, like to the point where it's like, yeah, that's too much. Like that was just too much because I was like red flagging her everywhere. Things that I wish that we would have taught them more. And one other thing was reading to them. We read to them as babies. We read to them as adults. It teaches vocabulary. It teaches their sense of communication. It teaches stories. It teaches all kinds of good things. So read to your children all the time. And my daughter had trouble for a while. She had an expressive language delay. So she'd read a page, I would read a page. I had to really work on prepositions with her when she was younger and stuff like that. But they have very good communication skills in English language. Things that I wish we did better was let them know that we all make mistakes, but you are not a mistake. Forgive others quickly and make amends for your errors. Like I told the ladies at my table, I told my kids, you're probably going to go to therapy someday. Just remember, we did our best. You know I yelled at you. I may have popped you. Okay, but you know what? You were fed, you were clothed, you were housed, you were educated. You were not abused, right? So keep that in mind when you tell your therapist these things. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. A life of privilege also means a life of responsibility to give back and help others. And we try to remember that with our kids to try to, like, we have homeless bags a lot of times we give out when we're driving around. Try to tell them that they could volunteer somewhere. You know, send somebody a nice note. Send them a nice text. Be kind, you know. Give a life of kindness, of love, charity, respect, learning, and take personal responsibility for your behavior. My son told me that I yell too much. Sorry, Crystal, I still yell. He gets under my skin. He pushes my buttons. I get to the point where I'm yelling, going, stop talking to me. Just walk away, you know. But I still yell. I'm loud. I'm from the north. I yell. I don't cuss much anymore. My kids don't cuss. I don't drink hardly at all. I think those are really good things. So teach your kids basic car maintenance, especially your girls, because they don't want to get schnookered by someone who says, oh, here, I can fix this, and then they've gone and pulled, you know, something off their distributor cap and they can't drive. Iron your clothes for a finished look. But believe in yourself and trust yourself. I work on that a lot with my daughter because she said one of the things that I didn't do was teach her to believe in herself. So I've tried very hard with her now to tell her, how do you feel about that? What do you think? Did that feel right? Did that not feel right? You can confront somebody without being mean. You know, there's a way of standing up for yourself, and you should stand up for yourself. Stand up for what you believe in. You don't have to back down just because you believe something different, but respect the other viewpoint. So those are just some things that we did. And the other thing that I did, because I was the non-working mom and I have been the working mom, is that we always tried to have dinner together most nights a week. We didn't do travel football, we did swimming. And those were greasy bags and pizza. But other times, that was something my daughter, who just came home, was wishing for, was a home-cooked meal, all four of us doing something together. And another thing we did was, my husband was really big on this, once a week in the summer we did family day. And we would just pack up a picnic and go to a park, and we'd find a swimming hole, we'd take a hike, we would go to a different playground. Everything didn't cost a lot of money back then because we didn't have it. But you can do a lot of fun things that don't cost a lot of money, and you're making memories with them. And that's what you want to do, is to remind them of the good times that you had together, and then they come back to you and go, you know what, I miss this.
Okay, so the OG on the end. So I feel like we've kind of been all over the board, right? We've talked a lot about littles and middles and olders, and again, I think our whole point in today is to share our story. And if somebody just gets one little tidbit to walk away from today, then hopefully some of what we said was a success. So I love to tell my story. I think I've heard that from speakers before, with your spouse and your family, and even your history with your own parents. To love your story, no matter whether it's may not always have been positive or happy, but everybody has a story to tell. And my story started that I was adopted when I was 3 months old. I had wonderful parents. I was an only child. I was rotten, forever. I was married when I was 25. I became a stepmother at 25. I had a stepson. We did not have the best relationship. It was very hard. I was married for 8 years and went through a divorce, which was not fun. I was single in my 30s, which was the time I should have been having little babies and raising my children, or so I thought. And I was single, trying to search for a good man to be a partner with. So fast forward till I was 40 years old. I was married to Todd, who I'm married to now. We've been married for 13 years. And I now have twin boys that are 9. So if you do the math, ladies, I was 44 when I had those boys. So, I think infertility and struggling to be a mom early, whether you're in your prime, so to speak, or whether you're later, it was all God's divine plan that I was to be the mom that I am now to those twin little boys. I also gained 2 stepdaughters who I love dearly. Again, they're probably older than some of you out in the room. I love them. I love them. They're my children. And I think the biggest blessing is now I still have grandchildren. I have 5 grandchildren. So I went from being an only child and having no brothers and sisters and all of those struggles that I went through to be a mom. And now I have this huge family with all these children. And my husband looks really young. And I'd like to think I look really young. And all these folks up here, and some of you have heard this story too. So when we're all together, and nobody knows who goes with who, and nobody knows who's the dad or the mom is, and the big ones are calling him dad, and the little ones are calling him dad, and the little ones are calling him Papa Todd. Nobody knows anything about who's together, right? So it's really funny for us when we're all together. So that's a lot of fun. I did not ask my boys what I do well. We're in this season with them that, they're 9 and they're boys and they're rough and they're tough and they're breaking things and, and I just want to yell at them all the time. And I have tried intentionally not to do that, to do a lot of the things that these moms have said, to enjoy it and not to yell at them so much, to try to talk to them and treat them like little adults, because that, I think genuinely, even at 9, that's how they want to be treated, right? To try to teach them love and respect just like you want back from them. So that's the one thing that I think I'll try very hard with the boys. With the girls, they were 16 and in high school when Todd and I started dating, and the older one was already away in college. So the biggest thing that I tried to do with them is, number one, to make them feel like I was not taking their dad away from them. I think a lot of parents can do that very easily, and it's a normal thing. You know, you want to spend time with that person, and the children feel like that you're taking them away from them, or that you're trying to replace their mother. And, you know, I'm not their mother. I wanted to be a mother figure to them, but I'm not their mother. And I really tried hard to make sure that I was very understanding with them about not taking their dad away as well. And I did ask the girls, though, what they felt like that I did well. And I think it's more in the era that we are now, because, and I want to read that to you, what they said, because it was so wonderful for me to hear. And I promised them I was not trying to get self-gratification here, that I just wanted, you know, like a tidbit to share with you guys. But the one thing that we do with the girls, because they are older and they are married and they have families and they have other parts of their family and they have, you know, family get-togethers with all of those people, is around the holidays. You know, holidays can be super stressful with your own kids, with littles, you know, with sharing the traditions, all the things that you want to do around the holidays. So I have tried intentionally to make it a point to tell them, we just want to be with you. We don't care if you come on Christmas Day. We don't care if you come on Christmas Eve. As long as we can celebrate with you, whatever works best for you guys is what we'll do. You know, we always include them in our plans, even if they can't come. One of them lives local. The older one lives in Huntersville, so we do not get to spend as much time with them as we would like, but we always include them. If we're having a family dinner on Sunday after church, they're always invited. You know, we send them a quick text, sorry it's the last minute, but please come if you can. So they always feel welcome and wanted at our house. And I think that was very important too. And not to feel pressured. Don't feel pressured to come to our house. We'll come to you. You know, when they had infants and littles, it's hard to get out of the house, and then they've got the older kids too. So we would go to them. And then my boys have grown up as uncles to people that are all just a year or so behind them in age, which is really weird, you know. So, and we've even asked if the oldest one is a triplet with my boys. So it's weird. We have a lot explaining to do at times. So anyway, I want to read to you, and I think it's okay. I don't think they would mind me sharing what they both said to me about what I did well. So the first text that I got back said, you are always gracious, loving, and treating us like your own. You were sensitive to our family challenges and always made sure we knew you were there if we needed you. So that really warmed my heart, made me feel super happy that I felt like some of the things that I really wanted to do, that I did. And then my other daughter said, I've been thinking of the word, and gracious is it, generous too. I think you excel in going above and beyond for all of us in all ways, checking on us all of the time, offering any way to help out. And now as a grandmother, you're extremely selfless when you're offering your time and love and just always being there for us. So I also think that being that way with them is totally a God thing, because it could be very messy. It can be very complicated with families like this that I'm in. And I choose to make it more positive and as good as it can be. So I think a lot of prayer and a lot of help from God is how you get there. So That's my
Amen.
story.
And Susan, it makes everybody feel welcome at home. So welcome. My boys think that they're like quadruplets to her twins. So thank you, Susan. So I wrote down a quote: "Families are messy, but God is in all of it." And motherhood is the greatest thing, but also the hardest. So I pray that you guys feel that to your core today. I pray that no matter what hard you're going through, that you embrace the error and the hard that you're in. And maybe you're not going through any hard, and praise God for that. Continue to pray for your kids, like Lydia said. Continue to instill values in them, because if you're not teaching them good truths in God's word, then the world is teaching them their ways. So you are the number one influencer in your kids, and you have that. Even as they are out of your house, they're still looking for you for an example. So be gracious for that. You're gifted that from God. He's entrusted you as their mother. So enjoy each era that you guys are in. Thank you, ladies. Oh, Susan has something
Oh, I
else.
did have something else to say. So I worked outside the home for 24 years, and then I quit to stay home when my boys were born. And all these ladies have heard me say this. All 24 years combined were way easier than being a stay-at-home mom, okay? Or any mom for that matter. So it is not easy, and it does take a village. So I think we all love the fact that we have a village like this to lean on in the good and the bad.
Yeah, find your village, find your people, find a friend, find a Bible study, find a church, find a group, find a mom walking on the street, something. Chase down the Lululemon girl. I mean, do whatever you need to do. Find your people, because we're not meant to do motherhood alone. That's why God gifted us a spouse. That's why He came. That's why He does not want us to raise children by ourselves. So I completely agree with that. That is wonderful advice. So thank you, ladies, for sharing your hearts. I know that, and this is not the kindest comment that I have to say, but I have a team full of introverts, y'all. Like, this was really, really hard for them to get up here and share their hearts. So I really, really appreciate you guys. So we are just moms. We're real, and this is what you get is what you see. But we are so grateful just to share a little bit of what we do, what we feel like is good, what we might feel is bad. But we just want you to be encouraged. We want you to belong, and we want you to feel like you're equipped when you leave here. So mission accomplished, girls. So we do have a couple announcements to share with you guys. Our first announcement is that we have yoga starting tomorrow. Thanks, Amy. So yoga is here on campus every Thursday from 9:30 until 10:30. You just need to bring a mat. It is free. Bring a friend if you want to do yoga, if you want to try it, if you've never tried it, if you're a seasoned yogi. All stages, all ages, all sizes. It does not matter. Just come. It's a free class. Please come to yoga. There is not childcare for yoga, but you do need a mat, and it's free. So date night is this week also. Chad and Holly Hall are going to be speaking. They are a sweet little family of, how many kids do the Halls have? They only have two. How many kids? Three. Sorry, three, Jennifer says. They have 3 kids. They are going to be speaking. Their talk is in the Alt House room. Again, you drop your kids off if you need it for childcare. They'll feed them. They'll love them. You go to the Alt House room for a quick talk with Chad and Holly. Then you get to leave for a date. What better way of spending time with your spouse than enjoying date night? We do offer childcare for that. That is here on Thursday. Join us if you can. And then we also have Trunk or Treat coming up. Yes, Trunk or Treat. It is this Sunday, guys. Trunk or Treat is this Sunday. You might see some of these beautiful faces on stage at a trunk. We're not scary. We will have on our Refresh shirts. But we are going to personally invite every mom to Refresh with a sweet bag of chocolate, because chocolates are all mom's favorite. So bring your kids. There's tons of trunks, tons of activities to do. It's just a fun outreach event here at church. You don't have to be a member here. You don't have to know anybody here. You'll know us. You'll see us. Come, bring your kids. Even if you don't want to bring your kids, just come to Trunk or Treat. It's fun. Get some candy. We have a petting zoo. Y'all. Okay, so Loaves and Fishes. Loaves and Fishes is coming up soon. If you guys have not seen or heard of any of this, it is a really cool, hold on, I want to read what Taylor sent me. Sorry, Taylor, I should have had this up. Okay, so Loaves and Fishes is a good way to bless a family, a foster family, with food. So Big House Family Ministries helps churches in Catawba, Caldwell, Burke counties, providing support to foster adoptive, kinship, and biological families. Big House Family Ministries facilitates communication between churches and the kids in the foster home. So when they get a foster kid dropped into their lap, hey, I need you to foster this kid, they need food for that kid, guys. This is a great way for us to fill a pan of food. All you do is pick up the pan, pick up the label, the recipe is on it. It's actually really easy. I am not a cook. I am not a baker. That was what my kids agreed in. But actually did this, got the pan, got the recipe, cooked the food, brought it back to church, and blessed a foster family with a meal. It's super easy to do. It's casserole style, frozen meals that can be stored, again, and they are given to a foster family when they need it. So that's coming out soon. Sunday, November 5th and 12th is when you will be able to see those pans. So if you see the pan, you're like, oh, that's what Crystal was talking about, Loaves and Fishes. It's an easy way to cook a meal and bless a foster family, and it's, like I said, y'all, I don't do hard, I promise you, especially with a recipe. The crock-pot oatmeal was pushing it. Thank you, Jennifer, for your recipe. So yeah, it's a great, easy way for us to bless a family. Okay, so if you see that, you'll know what it is. And our next refresh, our last one for the year, because we do not meet in December, will be Wednesday, November 8th. Same place, same time. It's a little soon. It is the second Wednesday of the month, but the first Wednesday is the first. So join us November 8th, same stage, same place. I hope to see you guys there. Invite a friend. I will go ahead and close us in prayer. It's 11:15, so if you have children in childcare, you have 15 more minutes before they're calling your cell phone. Come get your child. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for just listening to us. I am so glad to be up here with my tribe of women along with you guys in the audience. It's just such a blessing to know that I'm not raising these children on my own. I can call a friend and just lean on a good friend for advice. So thank you guys for being here. Let's close in prayer. Father, I thank you so much for this day, God. I thank you for the cool air outside. I thank you for the beautiful leaves on the trees, God. Thank you for fall and what it means to us, and just the beauty just the beauty through nature, God. Thank you also for this group of women. Thank you for this church, God. Thank you for Refresh, what it means to my heart and so many others. God, I pray that the moms here will leave feeling encouraged and refreshed. And again, like Susan said, if we shared one thing that resonated in their heart, God, that we did our job. So just encourage them, God, as they go about their motherhood journey. Give them rest, give them peace in their hearts with their empty homes, with children at college, and also with staying up all night nursing and little babies and bouncing and all the things, God. We are so grateful for motherhood. We are so grateful for the joy that these little children bring to all of our lives. And I just pray that you will encourage us to encourage them. And thank you so much for this day, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.